What is up, YouTuber Nation? It's your boy Britt VR. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys enjoyed your Christmas like I did. If you hear something in the background, that's my little baby girl. It's a 24 operation with a child. I gotta do what I gotta do. So let's get it started off. Bitcoin has broken past the resistance around the $2,400. Bitcoin is moving at $25,400 right now. Usually around this time, people gather together to talk about Bitcoin to their relatives. We didn't have as much as that, but the media is out there, and these big institutional investors are talking about cryptocurrencies. Let's get right into this video. It's a video with Anthony Pump, we call him Pump in the cryptocurrency space, with Kevin O'Neill from Shark Tank.
I totally get why in a year like we've had that Bitcoin and other, safe haven assets, if you will, would have done well. But what happens if you get into, you get into 2021? Everybody gets vaccinated, or enough people, get vaccinated, and we get back to some semblance of normalcy, and it's more of a risk-on environment, and assets like Bitcoin fall out of favor as a result. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so there's two things to kind of understand about the market structure. There's one, what I call the Bitcoin black hole. So this is Grayscale, this is the Bitwise index. These instruments where basically you can invest in a private placement, they create units or shares, and they go and they buy Bitcoin with the money that comes in that private placement. That Bitcoin cannot come back out. There's no redemption feature of those funds. And so that's not going to go back into the market in kind of what I call the addressable circulating supply. Also, when you have corporations, Square, MicroStrategy, and others, putting it in their treasury on their corporate balance sheets, that's not coming back out into the market. And so what you continue to do is people are basically taking Bitcoin off the market. And so you don't need tons and tons of new interest. But I actually think that we're underestimating the psychological shift that investors have gone through. The U.S. government just ran an almost $4 trillion marketing campaign for the devaluation of the U.S. dollar. And investors are listening, they're paying attention, and they're choosing to move their capital into an area where they can protect their wealth. And Bitcoin serves not only a store of value, perspective, but also an asymmetric type potential return. And I think that we just haven't had an asset like that. And as people wake up and understand it, you're going to continue to see more and more capital flow into this asset in the coming years.
Kevin, it doesn't sound like your buddy from Shark Tank, Mark Cuban, thinks it's a nothing burger and irrelevant. I just saw a story last night when I was reading up to prepare for this segment. Headline: Dallas Mavericks offer special merchandise discounts for Bitcoin buyers. So, that's another arena, pardon the pun, where you could see legitimacy to Bitcoin from people like Mark Cuban, your buddy, who are trying to make this a more relevant part of people's lives.
I know Mark quite well. He also was quoted saying he thinks bananas are a bigger common currency, and he's probably right. I want to go to Pomp's issue about this idea that you're protecting your capital buying Bitcoin. There is no evidence that it has a reverse correlation to correcting markets. Last March, if you owned Bitcoin, you got slaughtered, and you had a lot more volatility than the S&P. My whole point is there's a lot of interesting ideas here, and certainly the fact that a Bitcoin, all the other ones haven't worked, but Bitcoin has. This concept of a digital currency is one that would work, and my whole point is for all of us, including you, Scott, who monitor and work within the financial services multi-trillion-dollar global industry, is this a nothing burger? It's not even a single cell amoeba. If you took all of the market cap of Bitcoin, totally irrelevant. I love to talk about it. It's fun to watch it go up and down. But during the day when the bell rings, I don't talk to anybody that's worried about this. They do not put capital to work in Bitcoin. Maybe it's fun if you're an individual high net worth person that wants to just play with it. But the financial markets deal with regulators, and you can only operate within the confines of those rules. And so when we glorify something like this, it really has nothing to do with the financial markets that make the whole world work. And no institutional or sovereign fund investor I've ever talked to has said to me, go index all of the cryptocurrencies for me. And the reason they don't want to own that is they fear the regulator. Yeah. And watch what happens one day. And I'm waiting for this one. I'm waiting for the day that one of these regulators comes down hard on Bitcoin. Grown men are going to weep when that happens.
Well,
you'll never see a loss of capital like that ever in your life.
Yeah,
it'll be brutal.
Okay,
and I'm just saying you got to get ready for it.
To that point,
listen, I'm ready to risk the rest of the. I got $52 here. I could lose it all, and I don't know where 1-800 operators are standing by to explain what happened.
Yeah.
It's not going to. This is just ether. That's all it is.
Okay, we're back. It's good to hear from both perspectives of the markets. I hope you ingested that information and read up on a couple of articles from it, because there is rumors right now that Steve Mnuchin is trying to put in regulations on cryptocurrency wallets. He believes that if you have a Bitcoin wallet, you have a Swiss bank account in your pocket. But that's going to be hard to control Bitcoin in the United States or wherever, the Bitcoin goes, because most of the Bitcoin is not in the United States. It's in China. It's in the Asia markets. And Bitcoin, everybody really says Bitcoin was made in the United States due to the 2008 or 2009 crisis. That's when Bitcoin came out. Do some research on who Satoshi is, and you guys figure out what I'm talking about if you're newbies. So with the regulations, the SEC just sent paperwork to Ripple, the company, because they deal with XRP. Let's watch a couple of videos for Mr. Garlinghouse explaining why Ripple is not a security.
Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, for a first on CNBC interview. Brad, welcome. Good to have you with us. And this is an interesting story. I'm going to pick up where Kate just left off, which was the idea that investors may have thought that in buying XRP, they were buying a security that gave them shares or some ownership in Ripple. Why is that wrong on its face?
Well, first of all, Tyler, thanks for having me. I think this is an important issue. And I think there has been confusion out there. Ripple, the company, as Kate introduced, we have shareholders. We've raised capital from venture capitalists, from actually institutions, and even banks like Standard Chartered is a shareholder. XRP is a separate thing altogether. It is a currency that trades in the marketplace. In the last 8 years, over $1 trillion of the currency has traded. And so what we find is, the SEC, in my opinion, having watched this for many, many years, taking a position now that is, frankly, I think, with one foot out the door, a little bit incredible to kind of take the position after 8 years.
There are a variety of cryptocurrencies, including XRP and obviously Bitcoin and others. Why do you think the SEC is it something in the structure of your business that makes the SEC concerned that there may be a securities violation of some sort in here? What's different about the way you are structured that would cause them to potentially file a suit?
Well, about 2.5 years ago, a little over 2.5 years ago, the SEC came out proactively and said they did not view Bitcoin as a security. They viewed it as a commodity or currency. Shortly thereafter, they came out and said Ether, the second most valuable cryptocurrency, is also not a security. They then have spent the last 2.5 years going after kind of enforcement by saying that certain initial coin offerings were securities offerings. Actually, I've spoken out in favor of that because I think in many cases those were, in fact. XRP, however, is almost undistinguishable from what is Ether in terms of its decentralization, in terms of the breadth of activity. It's traded on a couple hundred exchanges around the world. And what's amazing to me is not a single other country anywhere has looked at XRP as a security. You've had countries like the UK and Japan and Switzerland and Singapore all come out and say things that make it clear that XRP is a currency. Actually, one other nugget I think is interesting is even here in the US, the Department of Justice has viewed XRP as a currency, and the Department of Treasury has viewed XRP as a currency. Sorry, Kate.
That's right, Brad. Kate here. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on. I want to ask you mentioned some of those exchanges. I want to ask you about the broader implications for others in the industry. Coinbase is a big name we talk about a lot. They see about 12% of their trading volume in XRP. That company is about to IPO. What would this mean to some of the global exchanges that hold XRP or facilitate trading of XRP on those exchanges?
So about 95% of XRP trading happens outside the United States on exchanges around the world. And so that's outside of the United States SEC jurisdiction. For exchanges like Coinbase that are based here in the United States, one of the reasons why I view this as something that's broader than just, hey, what does this mean for Ripple and XRP? It's what does this mean for the crypto industry here in the United States? The SEC is really picking winners. They're saying there's a duopoly of Bitcoin and Ether are the two digital assets, the cryptocurrencies that will be not regulated by the SEC here in the United States. And it really, I think, sends an ominous sign for innovation around cryptocurrency in the United States. Picking winners in general has not been something the U.S. government should be in the business of doing.
What will happen?
And you mentioned before that
Go ahead,
Oh,
Kate.
sorry, Tyler.
No, please, Kate.
That XRP could really go on without Ripple. If you guys sold all of your holdings of XRP, that cryptocurrency could survive. Would you ever consider doing that, divesting all of your cryptocurrency holdings and really focus more on your enterprise payments business? Is that something that Ripple has considered or could do?
It's certainly, I think, one of the ironies of all of this is that for XRP to be a security of a company, the company has to exist. And the point that I have made at various times is that if Ripple, the company, didn't exist, XRP would still thrive around the globe with, a couple hundred exchanges around the world. And there's over 100 different projects, innovative entrepreneurs here in the US and around the world building on top of XRP. And the reason why they're doing that is because XRP is far more efficient in terms of speed, in terms of cost, to settling transactions and using it really as a currency. The power consumption, as has been widely reported, of a Bitcoin transaction is dramatically different and costs a lot more.
I have to say, this year's been interesting. The rise of digital payments anyway, due to COVID, some big investors throwing the towel in and saying, fine, I was a skeptic, I've changed my mind. Square, PayPal getting involved. What's driving the gains this year in your mind?
Well, first of all, Julia, thank you for having me back. It has definitely been an exciting year across crypto. I think one of the most macro important dynamics that is driving the crypto markets is the fact that many governments around the world are printing more fiat currencies. Here in the United States, you see, trillions of dollars of stimulus, and that means that we're inflating the US dollar. And when you inflate the US dollar, there's many people that want to hold non-inflationary assets. You've seen the same dynamic really with gold and the year that gold has had. And so I think people are seeing crypto as, in some cases, a inflationary hedge. As you pointed out, you're seeing names like Paul Tudor Jones and Stan Druckenmiller come into crypto and see it as a investable asset. And I think those are important dynamics that are driving this market.
So you're saying that the greater share of the gains that we're seeing are being driven by the store of value argument here for digital currencies or digital assets, perhaps, rather than utility function, which differs depending on which digital currency you're talking about, and quite dramatically.
Yeah, look, I have said for years, and I've said with you, I violently believe that the long-term value of any digital asset is going to be derived from its utility. I think one utility is store of value, and you're seeing that across Bitcoin. You're seeing that across other cryptocurrencies that don't have an inflationary dynamic. As you introduced in the beginning of the segment, Ripple is using an open source digital asset, XRP, to solve a payments problem. And it's extremely good at that because it's extremely fast and extremely cheap on a per transaction basis, particularly at a time when a Biden administration is arriving. And I think things like climate change, things like environmental impact of energy usage will increase on the importance in the radar. I think there'll be more and more attention on the efficiency and scalability of a technology like XRP in contrast to other technologies that have what we call proof of work or mining, which takes a massive amount of power, as you know well, having followed this space.
I hope you enjoyed both of those videos. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. The reason why Bitcoin is not a security is because Bitcoin is decentralized. People have to run this program on their miners, and basically that's what keeps the network alive. Now there's a little tweaks with Ethereum and XRP. Now with Ethereum, they did do an ICO, initial coin offering, where people give their money to them and they give them the coin. But it has the same mechanics as Bitcoin. You have to run a computer program to keep the network alive, and millions of people run it. Now there's a difference between XRP. Now, Ripple is the company that made XRP. They're totally different. They're different companies. A lot of people don't know that. But Ripple survived due to XRP. And Ripple works totally different. It's centralized. XRP is ran by these nodes that Ripple's owns. It's not decentralized. Everybody can't run a node to keep the network alive. And that's why the SEC is after them. Thank God the government understands decentralized applications versus centralized. And due to this application is centralized, they're going to have to pay some big bucks. This is what I believe, but let's see what happened in court and let that play out. I think they're going to look like Vertasium, guys. Vertasium went down with Reggie, and I see the same thing happening. So I hope you like this video. Thank you for watching. Visit my website, BritVR Crypto. Hit the like button, hit the subscriber button, and all you guys have a good day, and all you guys have a good night, and enjoy the crypto life. Peace.